Helltown, Ohio, is a ghost town with a rich and eerie history. It was founded in 1806 and initially thrived as a small, rural settlement near the Cuyahoga River. The town's early residents relied on agriculture and industry, particularly with its proximity to the river, which made transportation and trade easier. Over the years, Helltown grew, attracting more settlers, and by the mid-20th century, it had become home to a mix of working-class families. In the 1970s, the National Park Service, NPS, acquired much of the land around Helltown to establish the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The purpose of this acquisition was to preserve the natural beauty of the region and protect it from urban development. However, the creation of the park had a significant impact on the local community. Many residents were forced to leave their homes as the government purchased properties and land. As a result, numerous houses were abandoned, and the town's infrastructure was left to decay. The combination of abandoned homes, overgrown vegetation, and a general sense of desolation transformed Helltown into a ghostly, almost haunted location. The sight of boarded-up houses and crumbling buildings gave the town a spooky, ominous atmosphere, which sparked rumors and urban legends. Some stories suggest that the town was abandoned due to mysterious or sinister reasons, such as government conspiracies or the existence of dangerous chemical spills, but these claims are largely unsubstantiated. Nevertheless, the eerie aura of Helltown continued to grow, attracting urban explorers, ghost hunters, and those drawn to its haunted reputation. Over time, much of the land was incorporated into the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and Helltown's former residents never returned. Today, Helltown is considered part of the park, and while the park continues to be a popular destination for outdoor enthusiasts, the remnants of the abandoned town remain as a haunting testament to a once thriving community. Though the area may no longer be a populated town, its eerie history continues to fascinate those who are curious about its ghostly past. Helltown, Ohio, is a small, largely abandoned town that has become notorious for its eerie atmosphere and the dark urban legends that have surrounded it for decades. The town, once a thriving community, is now a place where stories of the supernatural, mysterious happenings, and sinister secrets have become an integral part of its history. One of the most chilling and enduring legends of Helltown is the rumor of satanic worship. Locals and visitors alike have claimed to witness strange, hooded figures performing rituals and ceremonies deep in the woods surrounding the area. These rumors were particularly prevalent in the 1970s and 1980s when the town's isolation and abandonment made it seem like a perfect place for occult practices. According to some versions of the story, the rituals involved sacrifices, while others spoke of the town being a hideout for secretive cults. Despite the lack of concrete evidence, the legend persists, feeding the mystique of Helltown as a place linked to the occult and dark forces. Adding to this dark image is the abandoned church, which has become a focal point for the town's satanic rumors. The church, left to decay over the years, has become infamous for its inverted cross, a symbol long associated with Satanism. Many visitors have reported strange occurrences around the church, including the sounds of chanting or eerie whispers drifting through the night air, as well as flickering lights that seem to turn on by themselves. Some even claim to have seen figures in dark robes near the church, further adding to its association with satanic rituals. The church, with its crumbling walls and haunting presence, stands as a silent witness to the ghost stories and rumors that have made it a landmark in the town's lore. Perhaps one of the most famous legends in Helltown is that of Crybaby Bridge, a haunted bridge that spans a creek in the area. The legend tells of a mother who, in a fit of grief and madness, threw her baby into the water below the bridge, where it drowned. Now, according to the tale, the bridge is haunted by the ghostly cries of the baby, which can allegedly be heard echoing through the woods at night. People who have visited the bridge in hopes of hearing the cries report feeling a sudden chill in the air and sometimes hear faint sounds resembling a baby's cry or a child wailing. Some visitors claim to have even seen a shadowy figure of a woman on the bridge, weeping for the child she lost. Whether or not there is any truth to this tragic story, Crybaby Bridge has become one of Helltown's most famous paranormal hotspots, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. The haunted nature of the bridge has only been enhanced by its dark history, making it a place where people go to experience the chilling presence of something otherworldly. Adding to the sinister atmosphere of Helltown is the legend of the haunted slaughterhouse, a location tied to paranormal activity. Once a functioning slaughterhouse, the facility now stands as an abandoned shell, its rusty machinery and decaying walls a silent reminder of its former purpose. The stories surrounding the slaughterhouse are particularly disturbing, with claims of strange noises, ghostly figures, and an oppressive, malevolent presence that seems to linger in the air. Some people report hearing the sounds of chains rattling, as if the machinery is still in operation, while others have seen shadowy figures moving through the windows. The spirits of former workers, many of whom allegedly met violent or untimely deaths, are said to haunt the site, unable to rest due to the grisly nature of the work they did. The slaughterhouse's isolation and decrepit state make it a popular site for ghost hunters, but also a place that locals avoid, fearing that the spirits of the past still linger, their energy trapped in the decaying walls. Perhaps the strangest and most bizarre legend associated with Helltown is the tale of mutant creatures. According to some, these creatures are the result of chemical mutations caused by nearby factories that allegedly leaked toxic substances into the surrounding environment. The story goes that the mutations produced grotesque, often monstrous creatures that now roam the woods near Helltown, hiding from view and rarely seen by humans. Some versions of the story describe humanoid creatures with strange, animal-like features, while others speak of mutated animals that have become aggressive and hostile toward anyone who dares to enter their territory. These sightings, though few and far between, have added an extra layer of intrigue and fear to the town's legends. People who claim to have seen these creatures speak of eerie, glowing eyes, deformed bodies, and unnatural movements. Whether these creatures are the result of urban myth, environmental factors, or something more sinister is unknown, but the legend of mutant creatures continues to haunt the lore of Helltown, adding to its reputation as a place of fear and mystery. Helltown, Ohio, has become one of the most notorious sites in America, surrounded by a web of conspiracy theories that suggest dark government secrets and environmental disasters. The town was abandoned in the 1970s after the federal government designated much of the land as part of the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, a decision that led to the mysterious and rapid displacement of its residents. This abrupt relocation has long fueled suspicions that the government's involvement was far more sinister than a mere conservation project. Many believe that Helltown was used as a secret location for government experiments, ranging from mind control and chemical testing to military experiments that involved the testing of dangerous substances on unsuspecting civilians. Some theorists even compare it to the infamous MK-Ultra program, suggesting that the government conducted psychological warfare experiments on the townspeople, using the remote area as an ideal testing ground. The lack of transparency surrounding the closure of the town, combined with the government's reluctance to explain the reasoning behind the relocation, has only fueled the conspiracy theories. Adding to the mystery is the widespread belief that toxic waste was secretly dumped in Helltown and the surrounding areas, leading to long-lasting environmental damage. Alleged toxic waste sites, some hidden deep within the forest or near the abandoned buildings, are thought to have caused serious health risks to both the local population and wildlife. The presence of hazardous chemicals, such as pesticides and industrial byproducts, is believed to have leached into the soil and water, leading to mutations in local wildlife and strange occurrences reported by those who dared to visit the area after the town's abandonment. Some claim to have witnessed bizarre creatures, such as three-eyed frogs or unnaturally aggressive animals, as evidence of the environmental toll these toxic materials took on the ecosystem. There are also reports of deformed trees, plants, and unexplained deaths of wildlife, further deepening the idea that Helltown is cursed or poisoned. Alongside the environmental contamination, numerous paranormal phenomena are said to haunt Helltown, adding another layer of mystery to its dark reputation. The site has become a magnet for urban explorers, thrill seekers, and ghost hunters, all searching for signs of strange occurrences. Stories abound of ghostly apparitions of former residents who allegedly still haunt the abandoned houses and buildings, unable to move on after their forced relocation. The infamous Troll Bridge, a small, dilapidated bridge near the town, is a popular spot for paranormal enthusiasts, with many claiming to have witnessed shadowy figures, heard strange noises, or felt an overwhelming sense of dread while crossing it. Other locations in the town, such as the old church, are believed to be cursed, with reports of hearing unexplainable sounds, like whispers or footsteps, in otherwise empty buildings. Some even suggest that the very land around Helltown is haunted by the lingering presence of the toxic chemicals, which may have altered the spiritual energy of the area, causing bizarre occurrences. Whether these reports are fueled by the town's eerie atmosphere or actual paranormal activity is unclear, but they have only added to Helltown's chilling legacy. The combination of government secrecy, environmental disaster, and paranormal lore has transformed Helltown into a modern legend, a place where fact and fiction blur. While most of the stories are based on rumors, unverified reports, and the unsettling atmosphere of an abandoned town, they continue to captivate the imagination of those drawn to the mysteries of the past. The alleged toxic waste, the government's shadowy actions, and the strange occurrences have cemented Helltown's place in urban myth, a town left behind by its people, but never truly forgotten. Whether these theories hold any truth or are simply the result of fear and speculation, Helltown remains a powerful symbol of the distrust many have for government transparency, corporate negligence, and the dangers that lie hidden beneath the surface. The abandoned town serves as a haunting reminder of the potential dark side of progress and the possible consequences of experiments conducted behind closed doors. Helltown, Ohio, an eerie and abandoned village nestled within the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, has earned a sinister reputation over the years due to the numerous ghost sightings and unexplained phenomena reported by visitors. Once a thriving town, it was evacuated in the 1970s under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind empty streets, crumbling buildings, and a sense of foreboding that continues to intrigue paranormal enthusiasts and urban explorers. One of the most unsettling aspects of Helltown is the frequent sighting of shadowy figures moving through the decaying structures. These apparitions are often described as translucent, flickering in and out of sight, as if caught between the living world and something far darker. Many people have claimed to see figures standing in the windows of the abandoned houses or walking aimlessly down the streets. Despite the fact that no one is supposed to be living there, these spectral figures seem to exist in a timeless loop, wandering through the town as though they are trapped in the past. The eerie atmosphere is further heightened by the strange sounds that echo through the desolate village. Visitors have reported hearing disembodied voices whispering in the wind, soft laughter carried on the breeze, and the unmistakable sound of footsteps following them as they walk through the abandoned streets. These sounds, often described as being too distinct to be the result of animals or the wind, create an unnerving feeling that someone, or something, is nearby, watching silently from the shadows. In some instances, loud banging noises have been heard coming from the empty buildings, as if someone is trapped inside, trying to escape, though no one is ever found. Outside the town, the surrounding woods have become a hotspot for other paranormal activity. The dense forest is often shrouded in darkness, and many visitors have reported seeing strange lights floating or darting between the trees at night. These lights move erratically, sometimes hovering in one spot before suddenly shifting positions, creating a disorienting experience for anyone who dares to enter the woods. Some have theorized that these lights could be manifestations of the restless spirits that haunt the town, or perhaps the remnants of some long-forgotten ritual. Alongside the lights, there are also numerous reports of shadowy figures lurking just beyond the tree line, watching those who venture too close. These figures, referred to by some as the Watchers, are said to never get too close but always maintain a presence in the background, silently observing anyone who dares to enter the area. The feeling of being watched is so pervasive that many people feel an overwhelming sense of unease, as though something is waiting for them in the dark. The unsettling events in Helltown are often linked to the town's mysterious and controversial history. Some theories suggest that the evacuation of the town was not due to the usual factors like industrial decline but instead related to government experiments, with rumors of biological or chemical testing in the area. Others believe that the abandoned village was the site of dark rituals, possibly involving satanic worship or other occult practices. Whether driven by local legends or a genuine supernatural presence, these rumors have only added to the town's growing mystique, making it a popular destination for those seeking answers or simply hoping to experience its otherworldly phenomena firsthand. Despite the many theories and stories that have arisen over the years, one thing remains certain: Helltown is one of Ohio's most haunted and mysterious locations, a place where the boundaries between the living and the dead seem to blur, and the whispers of the past continue to echo through the night. Helltown, once a small community in the northern part of Ohio, now exists only in the echoes of urban legends and the remnants of history. Today, the area is part of Cuyahoga Valley National Park, a sprawling green space that has reclaimed much of what was once a bustling town. While the land itself is preserved for natural beauty and recreation, the myths surrounding Helltown remain a fixture in local lore. In the 1970s, the government initiated a project that led to the forced evacuation of Helltown's residents to make way for the expansion of Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Over time, the town's buildings were abandoned, and many were demolished or overtaken by nature. The structures that remain are often in ruin, with trees growing through the walls and vines crawling up what's left of the foundations. Despite the official abandonment and transformation of Helltown into a protected area, the town's eerie reputation lives on. Numerous myths have evolved, blending elements of truth with the unknown. Some claim that the area is haunted by the ghosts of former residents, who never left despite the forced relocation. Others suggest that the land was the site of strange government experiments, citing the eerie emptiness of the place as evidence of secret activity. The legends around Helltown include stories of a creepy, abandoned church where strange figures are said to lurk, and mysterious symbols that have appeared on structures, fueling speculation about dark rituals. There's also the infamous Helltown bus, a vehicle supposedly abandoned by the government with a mysterious purpose, which some say still roams the woods at night. In the face of all these stories, the national park works to preserve the land's natural beauty and keep the area safe for visitors. But no amount of redevelopment or nature's reclamation can dispel the shadows cast by the legends of Helltown. For those who dare to explore the woods or venture down the roads that were once part of the town, the eerie remnants of Helltown provide a chilling backdrop for the tales that continue to thrive, blending fact, myth, and the unknown. Helltown, Ohio, is a place steeped in urban legends and eerie tales that have captivated the imaginations of many. These myths, however, are largely exaggerated or fabricated, often arising from the area's abandonment and the spooky atmosphere created by its decay. One of the most prominent legends surrounding Helltown is the claim that it was once a hotspot for satanic rituals and occult activity. According to this myth, the abandoned homes and overgrown streets of the area were used by dark cults to carry out disturbing ceremonies. However, there is no credible evidence to support these claims. In reality, the idea of Helltown being tied to satanic practices is a product of sensationalism, fueled by the atmosphere of neglect and isolation that the area exudes. The myth likely gained traction during the widespread satanic panic of the 1980s and 1990s, when many places across the United States were falsely associated with devil worship and occult rituals, regardless of whether any actual events took place. As for Helltown, there is no historical record or reliable testimony to suggest that it was ever the site of such activities. Another widely circulated myth is that Helltown is a fully abandoned ghost town, haunted by the spirits of its former residents. While it's true that the town experienced a sharp decline in population after the government began purchasing land for the establishment of Cuyahoga Valley National Park, it was never entirely deserted. Many of the homes were either demolished or repurposed over time, and the area is still actively maintained as part of the national park system. The belief that Helltown is a desolate, ghostly place with nothing but ruins is simply an exaggeration, designed to evoke a sense of mystery and fear. The concept of Helltown being haunted is another myth, rooted more in folklore than in actual supernatural occurrences. The foggy landscapes, decaying structures, and dense forests contribute to the eerie ambience, which naturally fuels ghost stories and tales of restless spirits. However, these stories are based more on imagination than on any documented paranormal activity. Among the more outlandish stories is the myth that the government forcibly removed the town's residents as part of a secret project or cover-up. Some versions of this legend suggest that Helltown was the site of dangerous government experiments or biological weapon testing. In truth, the land was purchased as part of the creation of Cuyahoga Valley National Park, a project aimed at preserving natural landscapes and improving local environmental quality. The government's involvement in the area was not sinister but instead part of a broader effort to protect the environment and provide recreational opportunities for the public. There is no evidence to support any notion of a government conspiracy, and the idea that residents were forcibly removed for some secretive purpose is unfounded. The myth seems to stem from a distrust of the government, as well as a tendency to create conspiracies around things that are poorly understood or seem mysterious. Perhaps one of the most famous urban legends tied to Helltown is the vanishing hitchhiker story, which has been recited in various forms across different regions. According to this myth, travelers on Route 303 report picking up a hitchhiker, only for the mysterious person to disappear before reaching their destination. Some versions describe the hitchhiker as a disfigured figure or someone who met a tragic fate in the area, but like many ghost stories, the details vary depending on who is telling the tale. This type of legend is not unique to Helltown and can be found in numerous locations around the world. The vanishing hitchhiker is a classic urban myth that has been adapted to fit the context of Helltown's eerie reputation, but it lacks any real foundation in fact. These types of stories often arise from people's imaginations or from genuine but unexplainable experiences that get woven into the fabric of local folklore. Overall, the myths and legends surrounding Helltown, Ohio, are largely products of exaggeration, fear, and the tendency of people to create supernatural explanations for mysterious experiences. The area's abandonment and atmospheric setting have made it an ideal backdrop for such stories, but the reality behind Helltown's history is far less sinister than the legends suggest. While the area is not without its eerie qualities, much of the fascination with it is rooted in folklore rather than fact. These urban myths about satanic rituals, ghostly hauntings, and government conspiracies have persisted because they tap into the human love of mystery and the unknown, but they are ultimately more fiction than reality. Helltown, Ohio, is notorious for its eerie and unsettling landmarks, with the End of the World Road and Boston Cemetery standing out as two of the most infamous and haunted sites. The End of the World Road, located on the outskirts of Helltown, has gained a reputation as one of the most chilling and mysterious locations in the area. This desolate road seemingly ends abruptly at a sheer drop, with no clear explanation as to why it does so. The ominous nature of this road has led locals and visitors alike to give it the eerie name, the End of the World Road. People traveling along this stretch of pavement often report an overwhelming sense of dread as they approach the edge, and many have claimed to see ghostly apparitions standing near the drop, beckoning them to step closer to the unknown. Some even say the figures vanish when approached, adding to the supernatural allure. The surrounding dense woods only add to the feeling of isolation, creating an atmosphere of both dread and curiosity. The road's strange, abrupt end, coupled with the mysterious apparitions, has fueled numerous legends and theories, with some speculating that it may be a portal to another dimension, while others attribute its eerie nature to a curse placed on the land long ago. The sheer desolation of the road and its haunting presence make it a site for those brave enough to venture into the unknown. Not far from the End of the World Road lies Boston Cemetery, another infamous site that contributes heavily to the town's spooky reputation. Boston Cemetery, often regarded as a forgotten and neglected graveyard, is located in a remote part of Helltown. The cemetery is known for its overgrown nature, with crooked gravestones, tangled vines, and thick ivy making it appear as though it's been abandoned for centuries. This decaying cemetery creates a somber and haunting atmosphere that sets the stage for ghostly encounters and unsettling experiences. The cemetery has long been associated with numerous paranormal phenomena, with many visitors claiming to feel an overwhelming sense of unease or discomfort as they walk among the graves. People often report hearing strange noises, such as disembodied footsteps, whispers in the wind, or the sound of rustling leaves when no breeze is present. Some visitors have gone so far as to say that they've seen apparitions of people who seem to materialize from the shadows, lingering near the old gravestones. These ghostly figures are believed to be the spirits of those who once lived in the area before the town was abandoned, and many stories claim they have never truly left. The spirits of the past are thought to still haunt Boston Cemetery, with some speculating that these restless souls are searching for peace or seeking to communicate with the living. Whether it's the eerie, lingering presence of the past or the overwhelming feeling that something unnatural is at play, Boston Cemetery continues to be a place that draws both curiosity and fear. It stands as a reminder of Helltown's ghostly history and the many unexplained mysteries that still surround the area today. Both the End of the World Road and Boston Cemetery add to Helltown's dark legacy, offering a chilling glimpse into a town lost to time and shrouded in supernatural lore. These landmarks continue to captivate those who seek to uncover the truth behind their haunting stories, but they also serve as a reminder of the mysteries that may never be fully explained. Whether it's the eerie silence of the road or the ghostly figures in the cemetery, these landmarks ensure that Helltown remains one of Ohio's most haunted and intriguing locations. Helltown, Ohio, is a small, eerie town situated within the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, whose dark lore is deeply tied to its environmental history. Abandoned chemical factories once operated in the area, leaving behind toxic waste that seeped into the soil and water, contributing to long-term contamination. This pollution is believed to have caused mutations in local wildlife, with reports of creatures exhibiting deformities such as extra limbs and strange coloration. Residents also claim that prolonged exposure to the toxic environment led to health issues like respiratory problems and cancers. The establishment of Cuyahoga Valley National Park in 1974 aimed to restore and preserve the natural landscape, but this expansion also brought ecological disruptions. Efforts to restore native species and clean up pollution have sometimes unintentionally spread invasive species or disrupted local wildlife populations. Despite the park's environmental improvements, the myths surrounding Helltown continue to flourish, with local legends of ghostly apparitions, strange lights, and vanishing hitchhikers intertwining with the land's darker history. Some believe these supernatural occurrences are a result of the lingering effects of industrial contamination, while others see them as a manifestation of the town's curse. The ecological changes brought on by the park's expansion have only deepened the mystery, fueling a blending of myth and nature that keeps Helltown's spooky reputation alive. In the 1970s, the small village of Helltown, Ohio, became the tragic center of a controversial land acquisition project when the U.S. government decided to expand the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The government, under the guise of creating a national park for the conservation of natural beauty, initiated a forced displacement of the local residents, invoking the power of eminent domain. This legal right allowed them to seize private property for public use, promising compensation in return. However, for the families in Helltown, the compensation often fell far short of the true value of their homes and businesses. The abruptness of the relocation, with little to no warning, left residents feeling as if their entire lives were being uprooted and disregarded. For many, their homes were not just buildings, they were deep-seated parts of their family's history, some having lived there for generations. The emotional toll on the displaced residents was immense. Many were forced to leave their homes behind and relocate to areas where they felt alienated and disconnected from their roots. As the government moved forward with its plan, homes were either demolished or left abandoned, creating a surreal and eerie landscape. Some buildings, now hollowed-out remnants of what they once were simply abandoned and left to decay. Inside, the remnants of daily life remained, untouched by time. Furniture still sat in place, photographs and personal mementos lingered on walls, and toys were left scattered on the floors, telling the story of lives abruptly interrupted. This abandonment of what was once a lively, close-knit community gave rise to an atmosphere filled with sadness and despair. The land, now empty and forsaken, seemed to carry the weight of the memories and the injustices suffered by those who were forced to leave. The abandoned homes stood as haunting symbols of a community that had been erased, not by nature, but by human intervention. Over time, these eerie remnants of Helltown became more than just vacant buildings. They transformed into the foundation of local ghost stories and urban legends. Residents who remained, as well as curious outsiders who ventured into the area, began to speak of strange occurrences. Some claimed to see shadowy figures moving behind the windows of the empty homes, while others reported hearing unsettling sounds, whispers in the wind, the creaking of floorboards, and faint voices coming from the direction of the long-abandoned buildings. Stories of strange lights in the woods and spectral figures walking the streets at night grew in number. It wasn't long before these unsettling occurrences became intertwined with the legends of restless spirits, believed to be the souls of the displaced families who had never found peace. The spirits were said to be trapped in the homes they once lived in, angry and seeking justice for the wrongs done to them. The legend spoke of an ominous, red-eyed figure who haunted the area, often seen lurking near the woods or wandering the roads that once connected the village. As the years passed, the ghost stories of Helltown grew in complexity and richness. The emotional trauma experienced by the displaced residents became a key element in these stories, with the land itself said to bear the emotional scars of forced eviction. The abandoned homes, now overrun by nature, became focal points of paranormal activity, with many who dared enter claiming to feel an overwhelming sense of sadness or anger in the air. The local stories didn't just speak of physical haunting, they reflected the emotional suffering of those who were uprooted, disconnected, and stripped of their homes. Helltown's tragic history was etched into the very landscape, giving it a supernatural quality that continues to captivate the imagination of many to this day. Today, Helltown remains a place of mystery and intrigue, a spot for thrill seekers and ghost hunters who are drawn to its haunting past. While the physical remnants of the village have largely disappeared due to the expansion of the national park and the passage of time, the stories of the forced displacement, the abandoned homes, and the emotional scars left behind continue to live on. The ghost stories, while rooted in real tragedy, have taken on a life of their own, with new generations adding to the myths and legends surrounding Helltown. The tale of Helltown is no longer just about the land or the abandoned houses. It's a story of loss, grief, and the long-lasting impact of injustice. The emotional scars of the displaced families continue to echo in the stories of ghostly figures and spectral happenings, serving as a reminder of the human cost behind the development and conservation projects that shape our world. Helltown, Ohio, a small, eerie town steeped in urban legends and dark history, has become a renowned destination for paranormal investigations. The town, which was abandoned in the 1970s due to a controversial government project that was never fully realized, is now known for its decaying buildings, overgrown streets, and an unsettling atmosphere. The abandoned structures, once home to thriving communities, now foster an aura of mystery and dread, drawing ghost hunters, paranormal enthusiasts, and those curious about the supernatural. The eerie history of the area has made it a perfect location for paranormal teams to explore, armed with a variety of tools such as EMF detectors, infrared cameras, spirit boxes, and night vision goggles, all in search of otherworldly evidence. One of the most famous investigations in Helltown was conducted by the Ohio Paranormal Investigation Team, who ventured into the old, crumbling church that had long been abandoned. During their investigation, members of the team experienced several strange occurrences, including a sudden and unexplainable drop in temperature. One investigator, while alone in the church, reported hearing footsteps behind them, but upon turning around, no one was present. Their EMF detector spiked dramatically, signaling an anomaly. Additionally, their spirit box broadcast cryptic messages, such as a whispering voice saying, "Leave," and a repeated phrase urging them to get out. These unsettling experiences left the investigators questioning whether the town's ghostly reputation was more than just a legend. Other paranormal groups, such as the Midnight Specters, have also explored the ghostly remains of Helltown. During their investigation at the old schoolhouse, where multiple witnesses had reported seeing shadowy figures and hearing disembodied voices, the team set up equipment and waited for any sign of supernatural activity. As they gathered in the building's decaying interior, the temperature dropped several degrees, enough to trigger their temperature sensors, even though it was a warm night outside. One of the investigators, Tara, described feeling a sudden weight on her chest, as if something were standing directly behind her. The group's infrared cameras caught a fleeting shadow moving across the room before disappearing into thin air, and their audio equipment recorded a chilling sound, a child's laugh echoing through the hall, despite no one else being present. These unexplained events led the team to believe that the schoolhouse, like many other buildings in Helltown, might be haunted by spirits unable to rest. The infamous Brandywine Bridge, another location frequently investigated by paranormal enthusiasts, is tied to the local legend of the Woman in White. According to folklore, a grieving woman who lost her family in a tragic accident haunts the bridge, appearing in a flowing white dress before vanishing into the mist. Numerous investigators have ventured to the bridge in search of this spectral figure, and many report feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness and unease. Some even claim to have witnessed a figure in white standing at the edge of the bridge, staring into the abyss before fading away. This haunting apparition, coupled with the eerie atmosphere of the area, has led many to believe that the bridge is a focal point for paranormal activity in the region. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence from paranormal investigations in Helltown came from a group of local enthusiasts who set up cameras in a decaying house near the former church. The footage captured a door slowly creaking open on its own, followed by the unmistakable sound of footsteps and whispered voices. When reviewed later, the video showed a faint, shadowy figure moving across the room before the door slammed shut, seemingly of its own accord. Furthermore, several investigators using spirit communication techniques, such as EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, recorded disturbing messages from the other side, including one chilling message that simply said, "Help me," and another warning to stay away. These EVPs, captured by devices specifically designed to detect unexplained sounds, have become some of the most haunting pieces of evidence collected in the town. Theories about the origins of Helltown's paranormal activity abound, with many pointing to the town's abandonment and the dark rumors surrounding its closure. Some suggest that the government-backed project that led to the town's abandonment may have disturbed the land, leaving a lingering, negative energy. Others speculate that the area's historical significance, its ties to early settler conflicts, native burial grounds, and even whispers of satanic rituals, may have contributed to the town's ghostly reputation. The presence of abandoned buildings, where time has seemingly stood still, only adds to the sense of liminality that many investigators feel when exploring the area. Some believe that this liminal space, where the boundary between the living and the dead is thinnest, might explain the persistent hauntings and strange occurrences experienced by those who visit. Despite the various theories, one thing remains constant: the eerie feeling that something, or someone, is watching. Whether you believe in ghosts or not, the chilling stories and compelling evidence gathered by countless paranormal groups over the years suggest that Helltown is not just a place of decay and abandonment, but a place where the supernatural may still linger. Visitors leave with a sense of unease, their minds filled with questions about what truly exists beyond the veil of the living world. Whether it is the land itself, the tragic history, or something beyond human understanding, the stories of Helltown continue to captivate and haunt those who dare to explore its mysterious remnants. Over the years, there have been numerous reports of people vanishing in or near Helltown, adding a layer of mystery to its already unsettling reputation. These disappearances are often cited as one of the most chilling aspects of the area's lore. One of the most well-known cases involves a group of hikers who were last seen near the entrance to the abandoned town. According to local rumors, they had been exploring the forested areas surrounding Helltown when they suddenly disappeared without a trace. Their last known location was near an old, crumbling church, known for its haunting appearance and the strange sounds reported by those who ventured too close. Despite extensive searches by local authorities, no signs of the hikers were ever found, and the case remains unresolved. Another chilling disappearance involves a local man who was said to have been investigating paranormal activity in Helltown. He was an avid ghost hunter, reportedly drawn to the area by stories of eerie sightings and strange occurrences. One evening, he ventured into the woods with only his camera and a flashlight. He was never heard from again. His belongings were discovered scattered along a trail leading to an abandoned church, but there was no sign of him, and the case was eventually closed. In another eerie tale, a family driving through the area claimed to have encountered a strange figure on the road near Helltown. Described as a hooded man, the figure allegedly waved them down, only to vanish into the woods when they stopped. After their encounter, the family disappeared, with no clues or leads to explain their sudden and untraceable vanishing. As with many unsolved disappearances, conspiracy theories and supernatural speculations have swirled around Helltown for decades. The most popular theory ties the disappearances to a secretive cult, said to have once inhabited the area. According to this legend, the cult practiced dark rituals and made sacrifices, luring unsuspecting visitors to their doom. Some suggest that the cult still exists in the area, continuing to carry out their rituals in the abandoned buildings and overgrown woods. Another theory involves the town's supposed connection to paranormal forces. Many believe that Helltown is a hotspot for supernatural activity, including ghost sightings, strange lights, and even portals to other dimensions. According to these theories, the disappearances are not the result of human malice, but rather the work of unseen forces that lure people into the depths of the town, never to be seen again. Some even speculate that the government's decision to purchase the land and abandon the town was linked to these strange occurrences. The theory suggests that the area may have been a site of secret government experiments, with Helltown serving as a cover for their illicit activities. This would explain both the disappearances and the eerie atmosphere surrounding the town. Helltown has earned a place in urban legend as a location where the veil between the living and the supernatural is thin. Stories of ghostly apparitions, strange noises, and unexplained phenomena continue to be passed down, fueling the town's dark reputation. Visitors who dare to explore the area often report feeling uneasy, as if being watched, or hearing unsettling sounds in the silence of the woods. Whether the disappearances can be attributed to the work of a dangerous cult, the pull of paranormal forces, or simply the shadow of an abandoned, decaying town, Helltown's mystery remains unsolved. The chilling stories of the missing and the eerie presence of the town itself continue to haunt the collective imagination of those who dare to wonder what lies within the forgotten roads and forests of Helltown, Ohio. Some residents of Helltown are quick to debunk the myths, emphasizing the need to separate fact from fiction. John, a lifelong resident and local historian, explains, "A lot of the stories are just exaggerated versions of what happened here years ago. The town wasn't abandoned overnight, and that the creepy places people talk about were once thriving communities. There's nothing inherently spooky about Helltown, it's just the tales that have made it what it is today." For residents like John, the myths are seen as a distortion of the town's real history. The Helltown name itself was a product of a local government decision in the 1970s when the federal government bought up the land to create the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. The residents were displaced, but the properties remained, creating a haunting visual and setting for urban legends to take root. According to local residents, these were just practical land use decisions, not the result of supernatural forces. People took the abandoned buildings and roads as signs of something sinister, says Sarah, another longtime local, but to us, it was just progress. Local police officer Matt, who has served the area for over 15 years, adds, "We get people who come to investigate, but there's nothing unusual here. No ghost sightings, no strange occurrences. Just people chasing an old myth. On the other side of the debate, there are those who acknowledge the allure of the legends and the charm that comes with the town's spooky reputation. Many of the younger generation, in particular, embrace the myths as part of Helltown's identity, even if they don't fully believe in the supernatural. Rachel, a local business owner, states, "We've seen a rise in tourists who come here for the haunted stories. They want to experience the eerie atmosphere of abandoned buildings, the empty roads, and the creepy woods. Sure, it's mostly just for fun, but it brings attention to the area, and I think we should lean into that." Her sentiment is echoed by Jason, who runs a local tour company. "We offer haunted walking tours, taking people to places like the old bus cemetery or the abandoned church. It's part of the culture now. It's entertainment, but it also brings in people who wouldn't have otherwise visited the area." For these locals, the haunted reputation is a unique branding opportunity, giving the town a certain mystique that can't be replicated by more traditional small-town narratives. "At the end of the day, these stories are what make Helltown different," says Jason. "Why not embrace it? There's no harm in enjoying the mystery." Despite the growing interest in the eerie legends of Helltown, a divide remains within the community about whether the town should embrace its haunted reputation or work to let the myths fade into obscurity. Some residents feel that perpetuating the ghost stories harms the town's real potential. "We've got so much more to offer," says Lisa, a teacher who grew up in Helltown. "We have beautiful parks, hiking trails, and a strong community spirit. The haunting reputation overshadows everything we've worked for." Others, like Rachel and Jason, see the myths as an asset that adds to the town's uniqueness. "It's part of our charm," Rachel insists. "The legends attract people, and the tourists who come here often fall in love with the town. Some end up coming back for the nature, the history, and the real culture we have. It's an opportunity, and I don't think we should let it go." Yet, there are those who feel conflicted, unsure whether the focus on the supernatural distracts from the town's long-term goals. "I understand why some people want to keep the stories alive. They're fun. But we also need to focus on building a future," says Matt. "If we let the myths define us, that could limit how we're perceived by people who might otherwise invest in the area." As Helltown moves forward, the debate over its haunted reputation will likely continue. Some locals will continue to debunk the myths, focusing on the town's rich history and natural beauty. Others will embrace the spookier side, understanding that in a world full of mysteries, Helltown's legends are a defining feature that attracts both thrill-seekers and curious tourists. At the heart of this debate is a desire to preserve the town's identity, whether it's through the lens of folklore or the realities of life in a small, evolving community. The residents of Helltown have diverse views, but they all share a sense of pride in their town, whether that pride comes from its ghost stories or from the memories of a place that is far more than just myths and mysteries. Helltown, Ohio, stands out among the many infamous haunted towns in the U.S. due to its unique combination of urban legends, eerie government action, and a natural sense of creepiness that blends seamlessly into its surroundings. While other haunted locations often have one or two of these elements, Helltown's blend creates an especially chilling atmosphere. The town is rich in urban legends, including tales of satanic rituals, ghost sightings, and strange creatures, which set it apart from locations like New Orleans or Gettysburg, which focus more on historical tragedy or specific paranormal events. Helltown's infamy grew substantially after the U.S. government purchased land in the 1970s under the guise of creating the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, which led to the forced removal of many residents. This unusual government intervention sparked conspiracy theories and gave rise to legends about secret government experiments or curses on the land. In contrast, other locations like Salem, Massachusetts, while steeped in historical actions such as the witch trials, haven't experienced the same modern governmental influence. Helltown's natural surroundings, with winding, overgrown roads, decaying structures, and dark forests, amplify its unease, creating an ominous setting that blends natural decay with urban myths. This atmosphere of abandonment and mystery contrasts with other haunted places like Gettysburg, where hauntings are tied to specific historical events, or Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which draws its eerie reputation from real tragedies. Helltown, however, combines contemporary folklore with isolation, giving it a uniquely eerie presence. Helltown, Ohio, is a small, abandoned area in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park that has become a popular destination for thrill-seekers and urban explorers, despite its eerie reputation. The place is often associated with creepy legends and mysterious urban myths that attract visitors from all over. These tales include stories of government conspiracies, strange happenings, and even rumors of ghosts haunting the area. The site's eerie reputation has been fueled by the crumbling buildings, overgrown roads, and abandoned properties, which create an atmosphere of desolation and mystery. As a result, Helltown has become a hotspot for people looking for a thrill or seeking to experience something unusual, whether through photography, ghost hunting, or simply exploring an abandoned, seemingly cursed town. The government purchased much of the land in the 1970s, which led to the relocation of the residents and the abandonment of many buildings. The area was then included in the Cuyahoga Valley National Park. Over the years, this has left behind a collection of decaying structures and deserted streets, providing the perfect backdrop for ghost stories and urban legends. These myths have been spread through social media, word of mouth, and even some documentaries, adding to the town's growing allure. While many tourists come to explore the area, there are concerns about trespassing and vandalism. Despite being part of the national park, much of the land is still private property, and signs warning visitors of restricted areas are frequently ignored. Some visitors trespass into abandoned buildings, graffiti the walls, and leave litter, which damages the site and increases the risk of accidents. Furthermore, the presence of thrill seekers has led to the deterioration of some of the area's most iconic spots. The rise in popularity of Helltown has drawn attention from local authorities, who now face the challenge of preserving the site's history while keeping it safe and secure. In addition to the physical concerns, there are also environmental worries. The area's wilderness and wildlife could be disrupted by the large numbers of visitors, especially those who disturb the natural landscape for the sake of exploration or social media fame. National park officials have increased efforts to monitor and protect the area, but the combination of curiosity-driven tourism and the allure of Helltown's haunting past continues to attract visitors eager for an unforgettable experience. Balancing tourism with preservation is a delicate task, but it remains essential to ensure the site is enjoyed responsibly while safeguarding its historical and environmental significance. Helltown, Ohio, is a place where the lines between myth and reality blur, where whispers of eerie tales and strange occurrences linger in the air. The story of Helltown has taken root in the collective imagination, evolving over the years from the truth of a government project to something darker, filled with urban legends, ghostly encounters, and unsolved mysteries. It's a place where truth and fiction dance, each feeding into the other, shaping the legend of Helltown into something more than just a location. It becomes a symbol of fear, curiosity, and the unknown. The power of storytelling is undeniable. Stories like that of Helltown evolve and grow, shifting with each retelling, picking up new layers of intrigue, adding more shadows to the already mysterious landscape. Every person who hears the tale leaves with their own version of what happened, what could have happened, and what is yet to be discovered. Myths are not static, they adapt, change, and expand as they pass through generations, constantly evolving as they reflect the fears, hopes, and fascinations of the time. As Helltown continues to stir imaginations, we must ask ourselves, what makes these stories endure? Is it the fear of the unknown? The curiosity about what might exist beyond the veil of reality? The question remains, is Helltown merely a product of a local legend, fueled by rumors and mystery, or is there a grain of truth hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered? Perhaps the most unsettling part of the myth of Helltown is the way it challenges our understanding of reality. The unsettling possibility that something beyond the ordinary could exist, not just in the pages of a story, but in our world, right here, right now. In the end, maybe it's not about finding definitive answers, but embracing the questions. Whether Helltown is a legend or rooted in something more sinister, its evolution is a testament to the power of storytelling, how myths can outgrow their origins, and how they can continue to captivate, leaving us to wonder, what if?